After Night of Champions and Raw the next night following Night of Champions, there seemed to be a lot of question. There seemed to be a lot of heads turning, a lot of eyebrows raising concerning the WWE's plan, or lack thereof, of why The Miz would win the IC Championship only to lose it 24 hours. Well, right here on the only view that matters on YouTube.com, Sean's View Entertainment, I have major news regarding why the WWE did this, why they chose to go in the direction they did, and there's actually more to this than meets the eye. So, ladies and gentlemen, make sure to like this video, subscribe, where it's always prolific, consistent, and dedicated, as you already know. There is news coming in concerning why the WWE had the Intercontinental Championship change hands in just 24 hours between The Miz and Dolph Ziggler last week. Now, many were speculating that it was a classic case of WWE going with the hot potato situation. However, it's now being rumored that Creative was planning for The Miz to go on a lengthy run with the IC Championship until they forgot that Vince McMahon wanted Bray Wyatt to be involved in a feud with Ziggler over the championship. This then led to Creative to this then led Creative to panic, and that's why Creative quickly turned around and made Ziggler versus Miz on Raw the following night to rectify the situation. However, there is also a feeling WWE just wanted to have an important feud to build up the IC title, with two superstars going all out to prove just who is the undisputed Intercontinental Champion. People in the know wanted Miz and Ziggler to replicate the magic that The Rock and Triple H created for the IC title back in the Attitude Era. It is believed once Ziggler goes on a strong run as champion, it's all about WWE being able to trust Ziggler, and if Ziggler can avoid the injury bug on his way back to the World Championship picture, on his way back up to the top to the World Championship picture, excuse me. Many fans are speculating that WWE just wants to hold Ziggler down to mid-card hell for the rest of his career. That is not the case at all. WWE is just testing the waters to see how long Ziggler's body can hold up while he can avoid the injury bug. So it's almost like it's a trial. It's almost like what I'm getting out of this is Dolph Ziggler is on a test run, so to speak, to see how he can maintain, his longevity, making sure he can avoid serious injury, because we know Dolph Ziggler's had injuries. He's had concussions. There's a variety of different injuries and things that have weighed Ziggler down, maybe even some politics, but I'm sure that, that isn't mentioned here. That's just, pure speculation. But Ziggler has all the goods. He can get the job done, and I'm glad that Vince McMahon, hey, as much as we criticize and critique Vince McMahon and talk him down and all that stuff, you got to give him credit. Vince McMahon's the one that wants Bray Wyatt versus Ziggler, and that's going to be a great feud. I think that's going to freshen things up. I think that's going to make the WWE stand out, and I think that's going to make Bray Wyatt one of those guys that are going to be able to rise to the occasion and prove why he is one of the all-time great WWE characters of this generation. And I say all-time because when it's all said and done, Bray Wyatt is going to have a tremendous career. But on the way to being and having a tremendous career, that is where Dolph Ziggler will rise back up to the main event ranks. Now, I know a lot of you are sad and depressed that Bray Wyatt isn't going to get that opportunity right now. But in the future, in time, Bray Wyatt, it's still too soon. It's too early for him to be a world champion. Sure, he can be a contender. He can be a challenger. But for him to win the world title is just too soon. Just like it's too soon for Roman Reigns. It's too soon for Seth Rollins. It's too soon for Dean Ambrose. It's too soon for a lot of guys. But all those guys I just mentioned will indeed be world champion in time. You just have to go through the motions sometimes. Sometimes it's good to go through the motions. Sometimes it's bad to go through the motions, all right? So everything has its positives and negatives at the end of the day. So what I want right now is I want your comments and I want your opinions. And what do you think about Creative forgetting about the Bray Wyatt-Ziggler feud? And why the WWE switched plans the next night on Raw to have Dolph Ziggler win back the IC Championship? Hopefully Ziggler will go on a lengthy run as IC Champion, because Dolph Ziggler is one of those guys that, well, you don't find every day. You ain't going to find him off the streets. Dolph Ziggler is one of those superstars who, when those lights are on bright and when he has to come through, he comes through the best on those kind of occasions, especially when there is pride, glory, and championships at stake. Your comments, your opinions, subscribe.